Argentina taking on France this weekend, folks. You may not have seen this one built up much in the English-speaking world. I haven't seen much in the way of news articles or videos previewing this one. There's dozens of things going on about the South African and Irish game, a bit about New Zealand and England, but Argentina and France seems to be flying under the radar a wee bit. But it is on this weekend. It's Felipe Contepomi's first match in charge of Argentina since taking over from Michael Cheika. And France have named a very inexperienced side. Some of the experienced players are in single-digit caps, and there's 6 debutantes in the starting 15. We will go through the squads, some recent history, stats, and predictions, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on how this one is going to go. His first Argentinian squad, named a few days ago, or weeks ago, from Felipe Contepomi, is very much looking away from some of the kind of most senior guys, the likes of Agustin Creevy, the likes of Nico Sanchez. These guys are notable in their absence, but there are still some of the senior guys around in the squad, by which I mean the guys who are already kind of in their 30s, compared to the French squad, which is very young. Julian Montoya is still captain. He is the hooker and he is starting. He's been ever reliable since basically surpassing Agustin Creevy in that leading role in the number 2 jersey. Gallo and Bello are alongside him propping the scrum, so they will be looking to probably try to get on top of what's a relatively inexperienced French side. But that being said, they haven't got any of their debutants in the front row, the French, so the front row battle will be an interesting one. Alemanno and Paulos are the lock-in duo, so it's an unusual one to see no Lavanini, to see no Petty in the side, but some of the guys for the Argentinians are being rested, I guess with one mind or one eye on the Rugby Championship, which is just around the corner, and some of the guys have been playing for the top 14 clubs, which went all the way to the final, so those guys in that event are kind of still unavailable. For the loose forwards, Pablo Matera is back. Remember, he missed part of the World Cup, or the end of the World Cup, with injury. Marcos Kremer, kind of hard tackling, and sometimes penalty conceder, is in the number 7 jersey, and then Oviedo is going to get a crack at number 8. That's kind of one position. Whoever's alongside Matera and Kremer has tended to rotate a little bit over time. Is it going to be Facundo Issa? He's taken a year off. Rodrigo Bruni, he's kind of been in there for a while, but Oviedo is going to get the chance this week against the kind of powerhouse Kremer and the skills man Matera. Bertranou and Carreras are the 9-10 combo. Carreras has not played a heck of a lot of 10 for his club this season, but he still gets the nod there, and that's the preferred guy for Michael Cheika when he was in charge as well. De La Fuente and Moroni is one of those areas in the midfield where we do see the experience. These guys are both senior campaigners in Argentina. Remembering there's no Chocobares available for this one with his commitments in France. And then Mateo Carreras and Bautista Delguy are on the wings. We haven't seen Delguy play for Argentina for a couple of years, but he was phenomenal for them in the past. Back when the Jaguares were still in Super Rugby, he was certainly a very elusive, quick, fleet-footed winger. And then Carreras had a standout year for Newcastle a couple of years ago. I think his pace has slowed down a little bit in terms of his try scoring, but he is still a likewise really hard guy to bring down. And then Martin Bogado, who played a bit of Super Rugby here for the Highlanders this year, more on the wing than at fullback, is given the nod at fullback. So we'll see how he goes under the high balls and whatnot. For the bench, Ruiz, Vivas, and Sordoni, experienced guys on the bench, no debutants there, but a couple of forwards who will get their first caps are Franco Molina and Bautista Peremonte. So good chance for these guys to get their first caps up against what is a inexperienced French side. And then 3 backs, Bazambanez, halfback, Albonoz covers 10, and then Matias Orlando is there as well. So it is a kind of more traditional 5-3 split for the Argentinians. For the French, I mentioned 6 guys who will get their first caps, but none of them in the front row. Baptiste Gros, Paulos, and Colombe are the 3 starting front rowers. A couple of these guys, I mean, Baptiste Gros has got more than 10 caps. I think he's in the 20s. But the other 2 are certainly still single-digit caps. But in this squad, that counts as experienced. So maybe a little bit of hesitation to drop some of the less experienced props in the deep end. You've got a debutant lock in Hugo Ardo. He's only 20 years old, but he's over 2 meters tall. So he gets his chance. And Baptiste Pessanti has certainly played for France before, but limited limited chances. Loose forwards is very inexperienced. You've got Cancourier, who is there at the number 6 jersey, who we haven't seen play for France for, I think it's 2017. It's been a long time, so not quite uncapped, but it's been a long, long time. And first cap under Fabien Galtier. Jordan Joseph will get his debut on the number 7 jersey, and then Oscar Gigot is there in the 8 jersey, only 21 years old. Really, really inexperienced. So remember, guys like Aldrit, Francois Course, the usual guys who you are used to seeing, and then in the backs like Dupont and Intimac, Gael Ficou, all these guys are being rested. France are, in Galtier's words, focusing on growth, which is, I guess, a bit of depth building in this case. Backs-wise, you got Baptiste, who's going to captain the side from number 9. He's the most experienced guy in the squad with over 40 caps. And Anton Astoy, who's had 4 or 5 caps for France. Again, is one of the experienced campaigners at number 10. Good chance for him to show what he can do, because behind Jalibert and behind Intimac, there's not been a lot of guys getting game time with the number 10 jersey for France. Antoine Fresh, glad to see him get an international cap, because I've seen him playing for Munster. I thought he deserves a cap for somebody, and he's going to get it with France. He was, remember, multi-nation eligible, but he is in the number 12 jersey. Emilien Gaitan, who has 1 cap, is alongside him in the midfield, which is a very big contrast to the very experienced Pumas midfield. And then you've got Etienne on the left wing. You've got Asid Gobi on the right wing, and then Leo Barret at fullback for France. Barret is the only capped guy with 2 uncapped wingers, including a 19-year-old on the right. So, yeah, one of these times I wish I watched more top 14, given how many new names there are in this French side. There are a few experienced guys on the bench. Bobigny, Taufik Fanua, and Bamba all have caps for France, so there's no uncapped front rowers in the starting 15. Tuilangi has also had caps for France in the Six Nations, a big unit of a lock to bring off the bench. Guillard is the loose forward replacement alongside Nouchi, so it's 2 backs on the bench with Couillou and Jaminet. So a 6-2 split for the French. Argentina, stats-wise, under Michael Cheika, had a pretty low kicking rate. They didn't kick a heck of a lot. They also tackled a little bit lower in terms of their completion rate compared to some of the other teams. Line-out was solid. Scrum at times had issues. It was very much a kind of unfinished product under Michael Cheika. He talked a lot about the fact that these guys were playing club rugby in Europe, and then the Southern Hemisphere schedule for the Pumas meant a lot of the time he was just needing to give guys a break, give them a rest, manage their minutes. I feel like Cheika would have liked to continue with Argentina. He's obviously got a job with Leicester Tigers now, but I'm interested to see what path Contepomi goes down. He certainly had a bit of coaching experience, but this is far and away the biggest job of his career. For France in the Six Nations, which is a very different team to the one that's going to be fielded here against Argentina, they struggled a bit in terms of their finishing. Like, they only scored a bonus point against Wales, and Wales were poor. They were wooden spooners in that tournament. I mean, the goal kicking was good, but the try scoring was less than what they're used to. Played with a bit more possession. Like, at times under Galtier, they've been very much a team happy to absorb pressure and hit teams on the break. But they played with a bit more pressure in the Six Nations. They still offload a lot, but far and away they coughed up the most ball in terms of knock-ons and just turnovers conceded. So it's a little bit of a rebuilding one, seemingly, for the French at the moment, despite the fact that the Six Nations squad was a lot more experienced than what we are seeing here. Recent history between the sides is very much in France's favour. They've won the last 4 out of 5. You got to go back to 2016 to see an Argentinian win. That being said, of the games that France won of those last 4, 2 of them were in France, 1 of them was in Japan, and then there was 1 away win for France in Argentina. So average score 25-17 to the French. But for the predictions, the bookies are going with the more experienced Argentinian side for this one, saying Argentina by 7. The Rugby Forecast algorithm, which doesn't look at the team sheets, just the teams, is saying France by 4. That would maybe be the same prediction if it was Dupont and Aldrit and all the kind of regular guys turning out for France in this one. So, yeah, the French depth, when they have sent out these youthful squads, they've done it to Japan recently, they've done it to France, to Australia, have tended to get away wins. So it's definitely one I don't think you can write them off. but certainly the advantages with Argentina in terms of experience. It is on a Estadio Malvinas in Mendoza. It's a 4 p.m. local kickoff, which I think is a morning kickoff for me in New Zealand, which I can certainly live with. Chris Busby, the Ulsterman, is the ref for this one. If you want to watch it from America, it is on Flow Rugby. Check out the link in the description if you want to sign up there. They've got a number of the July internationals on that service for you guys in the USA. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts on this one. How do you think it's going to go? And I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.